to Isha Training Solutions. And I'm Naveen. I'll be your instructor for this entire course. So this course is about performance testing using NeoLoad. So we'll be learning a lot of concepts, uh, uh, NeoLoad's features and its functionalities and everything through practical hands-on. So I would like to start with my introduction. Know your instructor. So I'm Naveen. I'm a certified expert in NeoLoad. I have worked across various domains like retail, healthcare, life science, insurance, banking, finance sectors, and so on. I have over 1200 hours of live training experience. Okay, so this is a short introduction about myself, and let's look at some benefits of this course. Okay, so one is there is a live Q&A clarifications. That is, excuse me. So as we continue with the sessions, you can stop me and ask any questions that you have, and I will clarify your questions. Okay. All the sessions that we are going to uh, see will be recorded, and all these recorded sessions will be given as an access to you for your future reference. And some of the learners might miss some sessions due to their personal circumstances. Even if they miss, they will have the recorded sessions and they can verify it, refer it, and then uh, patch up with the actual sessions. Okay. There is a live troubleshooting sessions. So specific around 10 to 15 minutes is just given for this. So any learners who is facing any issues in their, maybe let's say a NeoLoad setup, configuration, or anything else, or maybe even they are facing any technical challenge in their project. Okay, so I will make you a presenter and you can share your screen and we can work together and solve, troubleshoot any of your technical issues. And towards the end of this course, I will also provide you support how you can uh, approach to clear the professional certification. Okay, I will give you how you can approach and what are the things that you have to consider and what are the areas that you have to uh, learn and practice so that you can clear the professional certification. And right now, professional certification, you can only make 2 attempts. And so minimum you have to score 70% to clear the certification. Okay, so this we will discuss when we have reached this session, professional certification support. So that time we will discuss in detail. Okay, so course content, what all the content, let's look at it. So we will be discussing a lot about performance testing concepts. Some of you may are completely new to performance testing. They are into different roles. So I have personally transitioned over 180 people into performance testing. They were from the different background. They are system engineers, network engineers, system admins, um, and so on, right? There are functional folks who wants to transition into performance. There is also automation testers who wants to transition into performance, or they just want to learn this as an additional skill, right? So that they can become an SDET. All right. So we'll be learning about a lot of performance testing concepts with examples using NeoLoad. And of course, NeoLoad's features and its functionalities, all the components of the NeoLoad, and everything is going to be practical demonstration and hands-on. Okay. There will be some theory or some part just to understand the concepts, but most of it, 80% of the course is just on practical demonstration. Okay. Further, course content. So we can expect minimum of 4 sessions per week. Okay, we will target 4 sessions per week, and each session is going to be 1 to 1.5 hours per session, depending on the topic that we are looking at. Okay, some topic may drag a little bit, so that to bring into a logical conclusion, this may drag. Some topics are short and it will be quick. Okay, so this is the expectation. Each session is going to be 1 to 1.5 hours. In total of, you can expect 18 to 20 sessions total. Okay, depending on the pace, speed, how we are going, and also uh, the participants, right? Some of you may be experts in this field. Some of you just want to learn the tools, features, and functionality. Some of them are completely beginners. They have absolutely no idea. So I will be touching on each and every concept, and then I'll be moving on to the next one. So if the overall participants is on the intermediate level, they have some experience into performance testing, let's say 2 3 years of experience, maybe you can also, this will also allow us to skip some topic and then we can fast forward. Okay, and practical lab sessions, these lab sessions is only conducted for absolute beginners. Okay, this is not restricted only for the beginners, even for the intermediate or advanced folks who wants to uh, do this, right? And these sessions are usually conducted during the weekends, okay, a Saturday or a Sunday. Okay, apart from this, any public holidays and weekends, we will not be having any session. Okay, sessions are only conducted during the weekdays, and we will target 4 sessions per week. And yes, so this is the overall introduction. I would also like to walk you through on the in detail, in depth course content, what you're going to get. I will also share this document in today's session in the group. Okay, so I would like to quickly go through on what all the things that we are going to learn. Okay, so we will be learning about some of the introduction to performance testing and introduction to NeoLoad, and we will also look into the installation of NeoLoad. Installation of NeoLoad also uh, consists with the license management, how you can procure a license, how to install this license. It has a separate process. So before we do the execution, we will be looking into the license management as well. Okay, and we will be learning on various concepts. So recording, how you can record a script or record a workflow, and of course the correlation just takes 80% of the scripting progress. And NeoLoad is the only tool that offers different kinds of correlation. Okay, as you can see, there is auto correlation, automatic configuration, manual correlation, advanced correlation. We'll be learning all of this with example, and I'm just opening a previous batch project. Okay, as you can see here, right, all these are different scripts targeting different concepts. Okay, you see this, right? AC is on the auto correlation, and this is on the automatic configuration. Okay, this is on the manual correlation, advanced correlation. Of course, there is randomization and so on, right? So there is a lot of things that we will be discussing. So I just showcased on what all the things that we will do. And assertions, this is on the checkpoint. We will learn how to assert a response, different kinds of assertions that is associated um, with NeoLoad that we will be learning, and different kinds of variables for parameterization. Then this is another part, right? This is a logical actions. So if I open this up, okay, you see there are different kinds of logical actions. So we will also extensively look into some of these logical actions and how, based on the use case or the requirement, a specific requirement that we get, how we can take advantage of these logical actions. so that to meet such requirements, unique requirements. Okay, this is going to be interesting topic to learn. See this, right? We will be looking into all this delay, transaction loop, while, wait until, and so on. So we'll be learning, and even with this, right, we will be, you see this, right, all this loop, while loop. So a separate script is going to be created, and we will be learning on all these use cases. Okay, building a population. So you can see this, right? So I'm just going to this. We can also see how we can build the population and monitoring, adding a sample monitors. Sorry. Um, okay. So creating a sample monitors and also discussing on the performance counters. Performance counters are the metrics which is attributing to the server utilization. Different performance counters will give us different information, and how we can analyze and look into these counters and make meaning out of it, that we will be discussing. And runtime. So runtime is all about setting up a scenario, right? Setting up a scenario. So if we see performance testing is not one type of testing. This is only for the beginner. Some of you may already know. So we'll be designing all kinds of different kinds of tests. Okay, see this, right? There is a different variety of tests: smoke test, load test, endurance, stress spike, and we'll be designing this, setting up this scenario and how we can work with that. Okay, that everything is practically demonstrated. Okay, and runtime we just discussed, and there is also results. I think somehow results has is missed. Okay, so results is when we will be doing few rounds of executions, and then we will be uh, analyzing these tests. You see this, right? Different kinds of tests that we'll be working with, and we'll go through the result summary, and we'll also go through this results manager. There are different uh, settings, right? Configurations, how we can take advantage of this. We will be learning all of these concepts. Okay, and additionally, uh, we will also learn the NL web, NeoLoad. Okay, I would like to view this. Okay, you see this, right? This is NeoLoad web, which is a SaaS version of NeoLoad. This can be used to execute test and even monitor and existing tests. So we will run few rounds of tests. You can see these are some tests that was done previously, uh, and I'm just showing a test with some errors. How does it look? A test followed with standards. A test using NeoLoad Cloud. How we can set up an LG using the existing system. So there's a variety of things that we will be discussing from the NeoLoad web. Okay, and if time permits, we will also touch on the real browser protocol. Okay, so real browser protocol is this one, which is a newly launched protocol. This protocol launched, I think, last year end. Uh, Although there were some improvements that they have made, the Tricentis support engineering team has made some improvements. So we will also look into this real browser and why real browser is used, where we can employ it better. So all of these things we'll be discussing. So before I go ahead and start demonstrating on a recording, so anybody has any questions, I would like to hear from you. I would like to answer your questions, and then we will proceed with the short recording. You can also use chat box if you are unable to speak, to share your questions. Hi Varun, welcome.
Hi, Naveen.
So I'll give you one more minute. If there are no questions, I will proceed.
Hi, Naveen. Ramakrishna here.
Right.
Do we have chances to regenerate the script in LoadRunner? We have a option to regenerate the script, right? So here in do we have that option to regenerate the script if we have done any mistake or want to rework on the script?
Regenerate? No, I don't think so. It is possible, but we have some set of standards that we can follow. So I get you, so that we can avoid such a redundant work. Okay, so that is also included as part of this course. We will go through some standards and some best practices, how to approach in, that we will explore. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And one more thing, I used to work for I have worked on LoadRunner most of my career. So want to know like in LoadRunner if we have any missed request or missing of request, we used to generate by using Fiddler. From Fiddler we can directly convert that to a Vision script. Is there any possibility here like any other tool or converting from uh, one from other tool to NeoLoad scripts?
It's possible. You see, if you want to create a manual script, sorry, a manual requests, it is possible using Fiddler. You can get the information and create it with NeoLoad.
Yes, but Fiddler scripts are directly get converted to Vusion scripts, right? But I did not see
That
NeoLoad.
direct conversion is not there.
Okay, okay,
We have to do some additional effort to to work with it.
okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions about the course? Uh, any specific topics that you are looking for? Anything? Okay. So I guess there are no other questions. So I'm going to create a new project. Okay. So let's call this as. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate how we can record a script. Okay. So before I go and do the demonstration, I would like to show you the workflow. Okay. And I also would like to show you the current version. Okay. So I'm on the latest version 2023. Okay. Fine. So let's proceed. So what I'm going to do, I will use this application to record. Okay, the transactions that are involved is going to be, so launch, then launching this web page. Okay, and then click on fish, click on this angelfish, click on this item, large angelfish, and then going back to the home page. Okay, a simple workflow. So let's see how we can record with NeoLoad. Okay, so when we start with this, so we can click on this button, start recording here or here. Okay, see this, right? So I'm just clicking on this start recording, and I'm just going to provide script name. Okay, I'm just giving this as JPET. And below what we are seeing is there are different protocols. These are different protocols. Okay, web is referring to HTTP HTML protocol. Okay, I think these you are aware of it. SAPGUI, Citrix. These needs certain infra requirement, and finally it's the real browser. Okay, as a part of this course, we will be only looking into web protocol, and if time permits, we will also look into the real browser protocol. Okay, I will also show you how the recording is done with real browser. Okay, so let's in, now we are going to look into web protocol. Okay, so here we have these settings. General, under general you see this, right? Start client. Client is referring to the web browser. Okay, and if I click on this drop down, these are the browsers that I am seeing from this machine. Okay, and NeoLoad has recognized these browsers. Okay, I think Internet Explorer is already obsolete. I think it will not work, and I'm just simply going ahead with Google Chrome. Okay, for recording. Okay, let me go ahead and click OK. Okay, this would only just a moment. Let me clear some browsing data. Okay, it's not getting started. It is getting closed abruptly. Okay. See, this is uh, this is this NeoLoad the server will monitor whatever the network traffic that is going through this browser or this browser instance. Okay, so I'm going to provide this one. So I'll just want to walk you through on this as well. You see, these are this is called as recording bar. Okay, and here you see there's a pause button, stop button, and record in which let's say these are called as containers. Which containers that this has to be recorded? It is best, usually it is always recorded in action, and this is where we provide the transaction name. This is called as transaction field. So I'm just providing launch, that's all. Unlike LoadRunner, we keep providing for both start transaction and then stop transaction. There is nothing like that here. It's just we just provide uh, transaction name and then continue with the recording. Okay, so I have provided the transaction name, and I've just so launch done. So next is click on fish, on fish, angel fish. So just we just have to type it and then continue the transaction. Okay, as angel fish, and then coming back to home page. This is a simple workflow that I have recorded, and after recording, I'm just clicking on stop. Okay, so after stopping, okay, what we see is the post recording wizard. Okay, in this wizard, first we will be asked to select the hosts that are into the objective. Okay, if you see during the recording, the only so this is the uh, host, or this is the application that we are looking at, petstore.octopop.com. Okay. Apart from this host, any other host that it got recorded needs to be unchecked because that is not in the performance testing scope. Okay. So I'm going to uncheck all this. You see this, right? This autofill, just simply uncheck this. Some plugins it is going, and some, and also there will be Microsoft tiles, whether social media handles, and all these gets recorded during the recording. There is also other third-party applications like maybe Guidewire and few other applications, some help related uh, gets loaded, and there is also chatbots, right? Like if you go into any specific website, suddenly you will get a pop-up saying like, hi, would you need any help, something like that, some question. That is a bot. And even in certain cases you're not supposed to include that as well. Okay, just uncheck all the hosts that are not a part of the performance testing objective. Keep only the one that is in the objective. Okay, so I'm just only keeping this petstore.octopuff.com. Hit on next. After this, you'll be given into this dynamic parameter uh, uh, page. Okay, so from the standard perspective, it is always recommended to skip this step. Okay, we will learn why we are skipping this step, and we will learn about this later. Okay, this is usually employed for automatic correlation. Okay, which is in a way, when we are doing a fresh new recording, only for the first instance we have to skip it. Later we can also come back and then enable this, and then generate this automation. It is possible. Okay, for now I'm skipping this, and I would like to keep this default using the recorded think times. Okay, and then finally finish. So this is the let me remove this one. Okay. Okay, so this is the script we have. So this is how a NeoLoad script will look like. I'm just expanding the actions. All of the transactions or user actions got recorded into actions container. Okay, I would like to talk about this. Okay, you see this, right? There is a human type icon. Okay, human type icon is usually called as a user path. Okay, violet folders are containers. Yellow folders are transactions. And here you see there is a white document with blue ball icon. These are pages, web pages. Okay, so you can see this, right? Every web page will be taken a screenshot by NeoLoad automatically, and then we can see it how the screenshot looks like. Okay, and as just a white document, these are called as requests, individual requests. Okay, so in this, if we look at from the hierarchy perspective, a, a page can have one or more requests. Okay, and a transaction can have one or more pages, also requests. Same thing goes to the container. A container can have one or more transactions. Okay, so all these requests, pages, transactions are called as, generally called as an item. Okay, so we can say in other words, we can say like a transaction can have more than one items, and here the item is referred to these individual requests and pages. Okay, so let me go ahead to this. Okay, I'm just launching the developer tool. Okay, so to open the developer tool, you can go to click on these three dots, go to more tools, and then click on this developer tool, or you can use this shortcut Control Shift I, or you can hit F12. Okay, any of this will bring up this developer tool. The reason why I brought is just to show you how this tool is recording. Okay, So okay, after refreshing, so this is, so we are looking at the developer tool under the network tab. Okay, this tab is used to see all the network traffic that is sent from this machine, or let's say this client, to the server, which is the host. That is, this is the host. Okay, and how these both having a communication. You see, this is these these are the network traffic. Okay, so it starts from catalog.action. Okay, so you see this, right? It's catalog.action is the first ever request. This is the HTML document. Okay, you see this, right? The type is document, and a lot of shifts, CSS, and SVG. All these are non-HTML. Okay, this also in a way gets recorded. You see this, right? CSS, GIFs, uh, all, even this ICOs gets recorded. Okay, so to open a page, okay, to load a page, all these elements are involved. Okay, that is the document, and followed by all these GIFs, images, links, and so on. Okay, so the same thing, it gets replicated here, and any performance testing tools objective is to simulate a real user action. Okay, we will further discuss this in detail, and until here, anybody has any questions? Is it clear on the recording? Okay, I take that as a yes. Fine. So let's further look into this. Okay, so I'm just clicking on this one. Okay, and I'm going to this recording. Let's say the headers. Okay, if we see this, right, we can see the request URL, the request method, and a few other information that you can see that is getting listed here. Okay, the same thing you can also find it here. Okay, I'm just going to this catalog.action, click on last. Okay, so if I go to the recorded request, you can see this, right? There is a get method followed by a link, and then followed by a series of header attributes. The same thing, you'll also be able to see it. Okay, and it's, if I look at into the response, the corresponding response, it starts with, let's say, doc type and some information here, and there is a logo, it says catalog and action, it says welcome. Okay, let's see this as well. Okay, I'm going to this recorded response. So it also gives, so let's look at this. We will come back to this one. So same thing, doc type, you can see this. So it says JavaScript store demo, the logo, welcome content, and so on. Okay, so this also gives a response code along with its other corresponding header attributes. Okay, this we can see it right here. See this, right? The status code and response headers. These are the response headers. Okay, so let's proceed. Installation we will see. So let's continue with the introduction. Okay, so performance testing introduction. So to determine the performance of the application under load or under various load, okay, how the system or the overall application's performance, to determine it, to benchmark it. Okay, that is the objective of any performance testing. Okay, so why do we need to do performance testing? Okay, so one aspect is the loss of business. Okay, so how is it associated with loss of business? For example, if I am, let's say, if I'm going to Amazon.in, okay, for some reason Amazon is not opening. So I'm waiting for more than 10 seconds. It's not opening. Then what as an end user I'll do as a customer, I will just move on to its competitor, right? Whoever is into the similar business, I'll just try to open it. If that opens, so it's an kind of an opportunity cost, right? So the first and foremost part is to keep the website's application up and running. We 100% uptime is really good, but even now there are some certain standards in US and in other developed countries. They have 99% uptime. That is the by default, it's a requirement. Okay. So anyway, to be compliant and also to keep the business or to avoid any such loss, performance is one important aspect. Okay. Yes, another part is if the user experience, okay, the end user experience is really good, the website is really fast, it has a very let's say other cosmetic attributes are really nice, then more likely that user is going to return to that particular business and then try to make more transactions. Okay. And these are the other aspects. Okay. So if any business needs to grow and consistently post a good profit and also revenue, these are the three aspects that needs to be checked. Okay. That is scalability, how well the system can be scaled. Okay. So if the a system experiences a sudden 5 times more than the usual network traffic, then whether the system is capable of scaling that. Okay, so the scalability aspect is needs to be looked into. Stability, so how good the system is stable for a prolonged duration of usage of the system, whether if the system can handle or is stable enough to meet all the end user requirements. Okay, and finally it is the robustness. Robustness here refers to the data validation, or let's say the integrity, right? Or okay, so if uh, I think we can correlate this with the uh, any of the transaction that we make. The best example is the ATM transaction, right? So if we try to withdraw money and for some reason the money did not come out, or maybe any issue, right? Maybe we will get a notification saying the so and so funds has been debited, but after some time it gets reversed immediately. You will get the get the money back, or sometimes the transaction will not even go through. It will say probably the transaction is declined, something like that, right? So this is the robustness of that particular system. If the robustness is not very good, if the data validation is not so great, then what happens, the system will be riddled with a lot of incomplete information, incomplete data that will indirectly moves towards the loss of the business. Okay, so this is something that we have to look into. So all these aspects we will be learning how we can translate this into performance testing and how we can determine them. Okay, fine. So let's move on. Okay, so as I was saying, performance testing is not just one type of testing. It has a different types of testing. So let's look at some of them. So load test is the most used type, which is application under peak user load. Stress test is to determine the application's breakpoint. That is, we constantly increase the user load and then eventually try to break it. So that is the stress test. Soak test is to determine the stability of the system, also called as endurance. More types. Smoke test usually for warm up and validation testing. Spike is to simulate a sudden jump in the user load. We'll be designing all this in the scenario design. And capacity should determine the maximum capacity of that particular system. That is without any major performance degradation. Okay. So we will be discussing all of this. So we will discuss in the upcoming session. So if you have any further questions, I would like to take it. If no further questions, then we can close it. Anybody has any questions? I'm audible, right? Hello. Okay, so I take that as a no. There are no further questions. So I will see you all in the upcoming session. Thank you.